Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here. Welcome back to hashtag mods in the scrattic, and welcome back to day 13, lucky number 13, right? The prompt for today is grunge. If you are just now joining me, mods in the scrattic is a fun challenge. I've been having fun, at least. I hope everybody else is. But it's a scrap busting ephemera making challenge hosted by me, Priscilla, at Release the Craftin. And I am pointing to myself as I say that. That is exactly what you are hearing in my voice. I am doing that. A scrattic is a scrappy attic. That is a place where you keep all of your scraps. And so the whole point of this challenge is to use up your scraps. It's the first of the year, so we gotta get up into the attic, clean it out, and that's what we're doing. The prompt today is grunge, and I was gonna bring you guys along on like a long form version of this because I thought it would be fun to just spend some time hanging out, grunging stuff up for you and with you, but the problem is that I'm not a loud person, despite what this microphone makes it seem. I actually needed the microphone to be louder, because I am a mumble mouth whisperer, mush face. Like, I'm not loud. I'm not loud in life. Like, I can get loud. It's possible. But my default setting is, to be quieter than my cat, who is currently digging around in her bag of crack, which is the coffee dyed lace that I have on the floor. That's her crack, because for whatever reason she just really loves that smell. Although, to be fair, whenever I make coffee, she also wants to smell coffee. So because she likes to smell the coffee, not the actual finished like cup of coffee, she doesn't care about that. What she wants to smell are the coffee grounds, like just straight from the source, the rocks, you know, she wants to get in there. So what I have to do is I scoop out my coffee, and then I take a little tiny pinch, rub it on my fingers, and then I let her smell my fingers without the coffee grounds, because I don't want to waste coffee. But that's like her bread and butter. That's our whole ritual. Every morning I'm at home making coffee. It's I gotta let her smell my coffee fingers. And so I should have known when I put this bag of coffee dyed lace on the floor that she was going to be all up in the business, because she just loves the smell of coffee. The girl and I have very similar taste. She is my daughter through and through. In fact, somebody sent me this meme that like made me cry a little bit, because it basically said that your pets are all the children that you were supposed to have, but they didn't have like a human body to reincarnate into, so they came into a furry one instead. And that shit had me like tearing up, because I was like, she is my daughter and I love her so much. And like, God, who knows like how the hormones are working in my body right now, because I'm not even a particularly sentimental person either. But yeah, so at any rate, what I was going to say was I was going to do this grunging up thing together. We were going to do it together in a long form or video, but because I am not a loud person, and you can see I have brought out the heat tool frequently. I don't even like to shout, like, if I don't have to. So, like, I could get up to the camera and just, like, shout into it to be heard over the sound of the heat tool, because for whatever reason, I don't know, it's because I'm cheap and tired and hate editing. The editor app I have doesn't have like a mute function, so like I have to either choose to use the sound in the video or to voice it over. So like I could have probably done a long form voiceover, but like no. But I can't just like mute the heat tool and then come back in the editing stage and talk a little bit and then jump back into the video when I've unmuted. There's not a possibility to do that. To do that on my editor, I have to split every clip and then mute that individual clip. And like you guys, I like you guys. I love you guys even, actually, now that I think about it. But just not like that. Not enough to edit. Because I hate editing. And I also really prefer like a stream of consciousness where I can get it. If you guys can't tell, obviously, by the way that this voiceover is going, that's how all of my things are entirely stream of consciousness, even though I am much more concise when I write stuff down. I just like to be authentic in myself and not stress myself out. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're doing a voiceover today, and that's all I've been talking about. Because it would have just been me trying to shout over the heat tool for the entirety of this project, which would have been way too long. Also, this took a staggering amount of time. There's some off-camera stuff that's happened in between here. but also a lot of on-camera stuff, which is sped up at 5 times. So this took like 2 hours, which was like abominable. And this was the point in the challenge where I was like, you need to start making stuff simpler, because you're never going to be able to keep up with this output and the amount of videos that you need to make. You're going to have to start condensing your own challenge down, which is shameful. I know, like, you guys wouldn't consider it shameful, but to me, it would be like a point of pride. Like, I would be ashamed of myself if I had to start being like, well, today I'm going to do label and metal and drips on the same one, and you guys are just going to have to deal with one video for the next 3 days because I'm far behind. Like, I can't do that. So, yeah, this particular project was the one where I was like, you got to do something simpler. You can't do this for every single one. You cannot spend 2 hours per piece of ephemera every single damn time. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with your brain that tells you that you have to go like above and beyond, and that is not the case. So I guess all that to say, it's good to check in with yourself sometimes and be like, hey, am I doing the most? Do I need a break from doing the most? It's okay to take a break from doing the most. And I think that's really important. It's really healthy to sort of check in with yourself and be like, hey, I see what you're doing, and I see that you're feeling some kind of way, and you're feeling very creative and all these things. But also, like, time is of the essence. You do have time that is not on your side. And it's okay to take a step down and continue to do what you're doing. Continue to ride that creative wave and that creative high with slightly less enthusiasm, or I won't say enthusiasm because I'm still enthusiastic as heck. With slightly less energy output, so that you can maintain the course. It is important. What I'm saying is, all of this is to say, pace yourselves. It's okay to pace yourself. There's no guilt in pacing yourself. So if you are like endeavoring to do a challenge, a personal challenge, a creative challenge, anything like that, if you're just endeavoring to like sort of push yourself in a space, it is okay to check in with yourself, take a temperature check, and be like, hey, I love what we're doing here. Everything we're doing is great. But if we cannot allot like the time that we need for it, or the space, or like whatever, then we need to sort of maybe consider changing our pace so that we can maintain this, so that we don't let ourselves down, because I think that happens to a lot of people where they go really hard, especially like with this time of year, with it being the new year and you get your resolutions going, and like, you know, you're doing all these things, so you're like, okay, this is new year, new me energy, like all this stuff, so you're gonna go hard to the paint for something, and then you burn out because it's just not sustainable, you know, to do like these big major life changes or these big overhauls of your habits or your lifestyle or anything like that. It's not sustainable to do like a big thing like that. And actually, like, a gradual amp up would be the way to go, where you sort of work your way up to it, but also because, you know, we come out of the gate for the new year with like this burst of energy, because I think like energetically the energy for the new year is a big palate cleanser, right? Everyone wants to throw behind everything that, you know, didn't serve of the last year and start fresh, and that energy is big and it's abundant, and you want to ride that sort of high, but then it dies out, and it dies out quickly as you move into the new year. Like, you got maybe like 2 weeks of being like, new year, new energy, and then it starts to sort of trickle back, and then by the end of January, like, that energy is a little bit gone. Less so if you're Asian or you celebrate the Lunar New Year's, because you get like a second wind of New Year by the end of January, early February. But then after that, like, now we're in Valentine's Day, you're in a whole different set of holidays, you're getting ready for spring, so like all that new year, new energy stuff is left behind, so like the ability to continue to ride that energetic wave is gone, and you have to ask yourself, you have to check in with yourself and be like, hey, is this sustainable? Is this something I can continue to work with, or do I need to do something more practical and reasonable in order to achieve the goal that I want? And that's not just like in a creative practice, that's any practice, a physical practice, health practice, financial practice, you know, like things like that. Like, if you're trying to save money for the rest of the year, so you're like, I'm going to put $100 a paycheck into my pay stub, like my savings account, but really, realistically, it would have made more sense for you to put like $20 a week in, as opposed to like, you know, a big number like 100. I'm poor, so a big number is 100 to me. You know, that's not something you can do for very long, because you're, you know, if you're me, you're poor, so you need that money. And then you have to start pulling out of the things that you're trying to save, and then you feel bad because you can't, like maintain this savings practice, and it's because you came at it too hard. So like all of this to say, like, it's okay to pace yourself, it's okay to slow down, it's okay to sort of pull back on your creative efforts or your whatever efforts, and just do something that's manageable so that, you can do that. And it's okay to fail at things too, honestly. If I was to, like, not be able to finish this challenge, my own challenge, I would feel great shame because I'm an overachiever who's also, like, a perfectionist. But I would also eventually rationalize and process that. I'm also really good about that, I think, because I've had a chronic illness for years. So I've had to sort of come to terms with accepting things that are outside of my control. So, like, if I get sick or, like, a big flare-up, I have to be like, okay, well, you wanted to do this thing, but you just could not do it. And you have to be able to accept that, because if you don't, it just, like, eats you up inside, right? And so, if I were to, like, fail at this challenge, it would tear me up. I would be so guilty and so upset. But then, like, I would be able to, like, process that, compartmentalize it a bit, shove it to the background, and be like, okay, like, check in, let's be for real. You got sick, something happened, you could not finish this even though you wanted to, so you have two options. You can go back and finish the challenge at a later point in time and put those out there and be like, I completed it, or you can let it go and take the lessons that you learned from that and move on, and it's okay to fail. So, like, I know that happens a lot. People talk to me about it. I see it in the comments, especially when I do long challenges where people are like, I wanted to do this, but 30 days is too much for me. Or, like, I tried to start doing it, but I just sort of fell off at the end, and people feel bad, and they beat themselves up about it. But it's okay to not finish things, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to walk stuff back. If you don't have the time, if you don't have the energy or, like, the physical well-being to do something, that is totally okay to let that kind of stuff go and just be like, hey, this is the reality that I'm facing. But the important thing is that I tried, because I think I would look at it sort of as, something is better than nothing, and something is more than nothing, in these cases, because, like, you can put a value on putting out any sort of effort, even if it's the smallest capacity. So if you approach a challenge and you're like, I really want to do this challenge, but, like, my physical health is so bad that I can't participate. If you did one prompt out of the entirety of the 31-day challenge, you have done the challenge. You have done more than you would have done if you had done 0 prompts. And I hope that's coming across in a way that's, like, not a, like, aggressive, like, bullying sort of way. More, I just want you guys to, like, see what I'm trying to get at here. I hope I'm coming across clearly is what I'm saying. It's the same thing where, like, if you are trying to work out more, but you're, coming from physical 0 and trying to get into working out, well, you might feel bad because you're like, oh, I can't do all the exercises and the things I want to do. I can't walk for more than 5 minutes, so I'm just not going to. Well, that doesn't make sense either, because if you walk for 1 minute, that's more walking than you did before when you did 0. And, like, you can build on that. You can always build on doing more. So if you walk for 1 minute one day, and that's all you can do every single day of the week, well, at the end of the week, you walked for 7 minutes. And if the next week you add another, like, minute to that, by then you've walked 14 minutes. And, you can always build on top of that. Even if you do it on the daily, like, a minute a day, every day is, I mean, it's a start. And it's more than 0. And I think that's sort of how I'm able to process, like, things that I feel like I failed at as well, because the fact that I attempted something is more than not attempting it. And I don't regret trying something as much as I regret not trying something and not doing things. A good example, I guess, from, like, my personal history, something that I think about often, is that there was a concert that I wanted to go to for a band I really enjoy, and I was going to go with a friend from work, and so we were supposed to, like, go together, but then at the last minute she told me, she's going to go with her boyfriend, so we're going to meet there. So I was like, okay, well, just, like, call me when you're on your way, so that, you know, I can go and meet you there at the same time, and this way I'm not alone, because I have, like, bad social anxiety. So if I'm going to someplace, I need to know that, like, my person is going to be there. And she never messaged me. She never messaged me the entire day. I'm texting her, and I was like, hey, are you still going? Are we still going to meet up? And there was no response, right? So by the time it got, like, down to the wire where I needed to get up and get out of the house and go, I was in, like, full-blown, like, anxiety, and I was like, I can't go. Like, I won't go, and I can't go, because there's not going to be anybody there. I can't stand being around people I don't know without, like, at least one, like, anchor person to, like, you know, cling to. And so I just didn't go. I didn't go to the concert. And then about an hour and a half after the concert starts, like the opener is still playing, I got the first message she sent me where she was like, hey, where are you? Like, we're looking for you. And I was just literally like, what the F? Like, you know, I'm going off. I'm losing my mind. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't go because you didn't message me the entire day. Like, what the heck? And she was like, oh, well, come down. Like, we're here. And, like, it was, like, no skin off her nose. You guys, we're not friends anymore because of this behavior, because I was like, what the heck? And she's all telling me about her boyfriend, and I was like, I don't give an F about your boyfriend, like, literally. But, like, I didn't go. And then afterwards, you know, she sent me, like, pictures and stuff from the concert, and I spent all of my time thinking about how I really wanted to go, and then I regretted not going, and they have not come back to my city since. So, like, that was, like, the opportunity. Like, will they tour again? Maybe. I don't know. If they do, I'm definitely going to go. I'm going to find my way there because I don't want to miss it. But it's the thing that I think about when I think about regret, is that if I had just gone, I would have found her there. I didn't know that, of course, at the time, so I can't blame myself for that. But I could have just gone and seen the band that I like. I can stood in the corner like a weirdo and been fine. And once the music started playing, I would have been okay, you know, but, like, I regret not going. And so I think about that a lot when it comes to stuff like this, especially, like, in creative spaces and stuff where I'm like, okay, well, do you have the energy to do this? No. But if you participate, if you try this new thing, if you put yourself out there in some kind of way, shape, or form, that's better than not trying it or not doing it. And even if you only go for 5 minutes to this event and you hate it and you turn around and you walk out, at least you went. At least you tried. And now you don't have to live with the regret of, well, I never went, so I don't even know if I would have made it through. And that's been, like, the mindset that I've been in for a while. So all of this to say is, you know, if you're feeling intimidated by these large challenges and you're just waiting for the smaller ones or something like that, or even if the smaller ones are a little bit too much or beyond what you can do creatively because of time or energy and things like that, try one day, one prompt, because one is more than none. This has been my TED Talk. I don't know why this is how I decided to approach this entire video, but it's where we are. I guess I had it in my brain, so I wanted to share it with you guys. But yeah, that's it. Look how cool these came out. I made a library pocket, a floating library pocket with a specimen card on the front, and I used the ultra thick embossing enamel to crack the specimen slides. That's the grungy bit. I made it grungy. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next Moz in the Scratic. I'm gonna go to therapy, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, I appreciate your faces. Happy crafting, and goodbye.